The vibe of this year's AFA Warfare Symposium reflected this current moment in time. In a marked shift from 13 months ago, the level of reduced participation from policymakers and defense contractors, as well as Air and Space Force leadership, was noticeably down. Current events have left many of the people we spoke with feeling uneasy and unsure of what's ahead. For Generals David Alvin and Chance Saltzman, two men who, at least publicly, are very sure of the mission ahead and the direction they want their airmen and guardians pointed in, kicked off this year's event with messages of staying the course and doing whatever it takes. And that's the subject of this week's debrief. A little more than a year ago, Air Force Chief of Staff General David Alvin spoke to a jam-packed house at the AFA's annual Warfare Symposium in Aurora, Colorado. Fast forward 13 months and one presidential election later, and the room was half full, an obvious signal that Air Force leadership is dialed in on what's coming out of the White House. Crowd size aside, General Alvin is very aware there is a new commander-in-chief, and he acknowledges some very tough decisions about the future of the Air Force will be falling on the desk of President Donald Trump. For his part, Alvin wants to make Trump's decision an informed one.
I think we need more options for the president. And that's what air power provides. More options for the president. Everything from rapid response all the way to decisive victory. That is what air power, anytime, anywhere means. It's not just an aspiration, it's a promise that we have to hold.
Alvin believes the nation's security depends on reshaping the Air Force to address emerging threats, although the path to achieving this is still taking shape. At the same time, with Troy Menck nominated as the Secretary of the Air Force and awaiting Senate confirmation, efforts to adapt to current threats are on hold. Despite that, Alvin emphasizes the importance of reviewing past actions and future plans to align with the Secretary of Defense's priorities, and hopes that proposed changes, especially those improving lethality and capabilities, will be embraced.
So I'm confident, and I actually look forward to when we get a confirmed secretary and undersecretary, because I have a hunch that when they see some of these things we're doing, we're going to be told to go faster.
The other half of the bill on day one of the symposium featured U.S. Space Force Chief of Operations General Chance Saltzman, who outlined the Space Force's priorities for ensuring space superiority. He stressed that the job is to control the space domain while denying it to adversaries.
Doing so under stressing conditions of crisis and conflict requires a purpose-built organization, tailor-made with the institutions, the equipment, the tactics, the training, the warrior ethos required to use military force to control the space domain. In other words, it requires a Space Force.
Saltzman also reminded attendees the U.S. economy, infrastructure, banking, and communication all rely on space, and he believes the U.S. and its allies must be confident they can operate successfully in an increasingly crowded and adversarial space environment, stating the Space Force should be seen as a warfighting domain, not just a support function.
We must think of space as a warfighting domain, rather than just a collection of support activities. That the Space Force must organize, train, equip, and conduct warfighting operations as an integral part of the joint and combined force. And for this reason, Guardians are the warfighters with the unique education, training, and experience required to achieve space superiority.
General Saltzman also used the opportunity to announce two new initiatives. First, a new officer training course. It will be a 12-month program designed to give new officers a solid foundation in all aspects of space power. He also announced the creation of Space Futures Command, which will maintain the U.S.'s technical advantage by envisioning and planning for the future force needed to win wars in space.